Welcome to the Factoring Part 3 video. I'm going to do one more example and give you some tips for what to do if you get stuck during a diamond problem. So here I have a polynomial that I want to factor. And that polynomial is x squared plus 17x plus 42. My first step is to make that diamond. (42) on top, 17 on the bottom. I'm going to ask myself what multiplies to 42 adds 17. My first thought is, well, let's try 42 and 1. But 17 plus 1, 42 plus 1 is equal to 43. So that's not going to work. I can try, well, I know 42 is 6 times 7. 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. Well, neither of those work, and I don't know another way to multiply to 42 right off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is make a list of numbers. I'll start with 2. And I'll ask myself, okay, is there a way I can multiply 2 to get to 42? There is. 21. 2 times 21 is 42. And I'll check and see if that works for adding. So I have 2 plus 21. That's equal to 23, so that's not going to work. Let's try 3. 3 times 14 will give me 42. So 3 times 14 gives me 42. And 3 plus 14 is equal to 17. So that's going to work. So as a recap, if you get stuck trying to figure out what multiplies to the top number and adds to the bottom number, start making a table to make sure that you have all the ways to multiply. Anyway, we found that 3 and 14 work for this problem. That means that I'm going to change x squared plus 17x plus 42 to x squared plus 3x plus 14x plus 42. I'm going to make that box diagram. Fill in x squared in the top left, 42 in the bottom right. Then I'll put 3x and 14x on the sides. I know to multiply to x squared, I need x times x, so I'm going to put those in right away. If this top is x, and I get a 14x in this box, well, the only way to multiply x to get 14x is by multiplying it by 14. I see the 3x here on the side and the x over on the far left, and the only way to multiply x to get 3x is to multiply x by 3. So that means my polynomial factors into x plus 3 times x plus 14. And that's my final answer. Some other things to be aware of. If I have a problem like x squared plus x minus 14, I set up my diamond. I put 14 on top. I'm sorry, that should have been x squared plus 4x minus 14, not x squared plus x. I put minus 14 on the top and 4 on the bottom. Now, because this is negative, I know that my two numbers, one of them needs to be positive and one of them needs to be negative, because the only way to multiply to a negative is a positive times a negative. So if I see a negative, on top, I know that my two numbers, one of them is negative, one of them is positive. Make sure you add that to your notes. That's an important thing to remember. Here's another example where I'm using negative, so I'm going to make my diamond 12 on top, minus 7 on the bottom. So since my bottom number is negative and my top number is positive, that means both numbers need to be negative. So if top is positive, and I'm going to abbreviate that as pos, and bottom is negative, then the two numbers are both negative. And that's because a negative times a negative is equal to a positive, but a negative plus a negative is equal to a negative. So these videos on factoring should give you a good start on understanding the concept. What I'd like you to do now is please work on the module that I wrote down on the board to get some practice with factoring.